Hey there, Tundra Nation, and welcome back to the channel. Today on Tundra Tactical, we go a completely different route than normal and actually provide you with quantifiable facts and statistics about the role your home defense weapon plays in your survival. Just kidding, we are crapping all over your guns yet again in another rifle roast. Now just sit back, grab some burn cream, and let's start the show. The first submission today is from our friend The Peel. This Savage 110 Tactical is anything but the definition of tactical. It's not lightweight. It's not something you can aim fast or clear rooms with. It's just a bolt-action rifle. This is another example of a company naming something to bring in the suckers, and it looks like it worked. The glass on top is a Vortex Diamondback Tactical. Once again, he got suckered. But it should hold up in all those tactical scenarios you always find yourself in, I'm sure.
Wrong.
The fluted barrel is a nice way to save weight so as not to get muscle fatigue when unpacking this thing at the range. And I'm not really sure why you would need a 10-round magazine on a bolt gun, considering that you shouldn't miss with an AccuStock stock and an AccuTrigger in the first place. This should be a one-and-done gun. Now, it seems you finished the build off with the Caldwell tilt and swivel bipod because on a build full of mediocre parts, on a mediocre gun, you just had to go ruining it by adding something from Walmart. Kudos for it not being a sling, though. Have you ever bought a belt that just didn't hold up the way that it was supposed to? Well, look no further than this week's sponsor, Groove Life Belts. Yes, this is literally my new favorite belt, and that's a sentence I never thought I was going to say. Now, with the universe ever expanding, so is the glory of my dad bod, and Groove Life belts get the job done. They have an easy magnetic buckle system and a stretchy material that has just the right amount of support to carry, yet the perfect amount of stretch to let me enjoy my cheeseburgers. This belt is a winner, folks. They look good enough for almost every occasion, and they are tough enough for almost any job. The Groove Life belt is good for the office, sitting in the woods, hanging out in the backyard, and even sitting in the basement playing video games like me. When the apocalypse hits and we all have to move to Mars, you will be ready for anything. Warning though, don't wear this belt if you have a pacemaker or any other medical device that might be affected by a magnetic field. Didn't really think we'd have to explain that, but then I thought we are talking to you guys, so we'll toss it in there. Make sure to check them out by clicking the link down in the description below, or I will put you on Gata Claus's naughty list. Next up, we have a newcomer to the Discord, Redneck85. He posted this eyesore for our collective hatred to envelop. Just to be clear and for legal purposes, this is not a rifle ATF. This is an other classification and doesn't break any laws regarding pistols or rifles. That being said, you should be reported for making an AR other in 50 Beowulf. This stopped being cool about 5 years before it started. You have no optic because I assume you can't afford one that'll stand up to the recoil of the 50 Beowulf, and you clearly only shoot this thing when you're feeling nostalgic for high school football, so you can pretend each shot is you hitting someone for a block, since there is no other reason for this caliber. This happens to be because the most dangerous thing in the area that you live in is the local junkies in the Target parking lot. You built this to wave in the faces of those who have tried to outlaw such guns in your area, but you show a lack of commitment in your defiance by having a 5-round magazine, a pinned and welded muzzle brake, and a permanently attached vertical foregrip. The Spikes lower is in fact just as good as something that doesn't have a spider logo on it and costs a fraction of the price. Hey, do me a favor, next time you're thinking about building a gun, just go work on that Camaro you've been restoring for the past 18 years. Yikes.
Gotcha.
As per regulation, we have a poverty pony build coming in from Jeeperoni. This Anderson receiver set has obviously been dolled up. Ooh, fancy. A CNC flat-face trigger looks like it's been put in because you have refused to listen to my praises of the Geronimo trigger that I use. This will allow you for faster follow-up shots paired with that VGA comp, since you clearly expect to miss on the first shot. But don't worry, you're not gonna look cool shooting this thing anyways. This seems to be chambered in 6.5 Grendel and is clearly set up for hunting of some kind. That camo looks more like a forest fire, and the accented Fuddite orange parts are, well, they're kind of hard to look at without thinking I've made some kind of huge mistake in my life.
I've made a huge mistake.
We have an Odinworks barrel and BCG combo because proof research was out of your price range since you elected to go with an illuminated Add-A-Ball 3x9 scope. What AR pattern rifle wouldn't be complete without some Magpul parts on it? The stock choice is blander than boiled chicken, and the bipod is more common on rifles these days than Aunt Mary's fruitcake, going untouched once again. Okay, I have waited long enough for this one to be done because this next gun belongs to my good friend, Hypoluxia. And oh my god. Where do we even begin? The best thing about this build is knowing that the owner is smart enough not to shoot it. There is no other way of putting this, folks. This is an IO.
Everybody panic! Oh my god!
And that means it should technically be registered as a destructive device, as it will eventually explode if you keep shooting it. It's a great feature. I'm confident that this is just a meme gun and Hypo would never let another human being shoot this since it has the Hera Arm CQB foregrip installed backwards, and proving that they should stick to AR parts and AR parts alone. That Magpul stock is just gross on any AK. That concludes the list of quality parts on this gun. The rest are fitting of this weapon of deception as they are garbage parts and will not be missed after the impending shoulder height fireworks display. The UTG optic with the matching Oscar the Grouch grade magnifier have been added to give you something to focus on besides that feeling of dread you have right before disaster strikes. If we look at the front of the gun, we have an aggressive muzzle brake that probably doesn't do anything for recoil and definitely doesn't do anything for the aesthetics. While the parts list on this submission wasn't complete, I imagine that if we were to fire this without cosplaying an RN50 in Kentucky, that side mount optics rail would probably just fall right off the handguard and would start to melt and warp. We miss you, Hypo. Make sure to come back to the love as soon as you can, buddy. This submission from Kekistani Armor tells me that blending a firearms YouTube channel and a Twitch gaming channel was a great idea because you are clearly playing way too much Fallout and Borderlands. Look, I'm happy that in your preparation for emerging from Vault 76, you are developing the skills to craft a firearm from the charred remains of your local Home Depot. However, just because you can do something does not mean that you should do it. This rifle looks like the beta version of Frankenstein's monster. Somewhere there's an AK-74, naked, afraid, out of cigarettes, and missing its folding stock. This is such blasphemy that I have it on good authority that the ghost of Mikhail Kalashnikov has risen from the grave for the sole purpose of seizing all the whoop-ass in the world and delivering it personally to your home. The only thing that's likely to slow down the ghost of old Mickey is that lumberjack who cut the wood for the pallet that you clearly made this chassis from. I'm sure that your buried school bus bomb shelter / manifesto writing room filled with dehydrated survival food and this rifle is cool to the 10 guys with burner accounts on 4chan who always comment on your posts. But this madness needs to stop. Now, my wife says I should add more positivity to the world, so let me end with this. You clearly have an enthusiasm for firearms design, and no joke, Springfield Armory is hiring right now. I think you should give them a call. Odds are this rifle will be in production just in time for SHOT Show 2023. Well, that does it for today, folks. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and make sure to comment to help with Al Gore's rhythm. Not to mention subscribing if you haven't already done so. Click on one of these two cripplers right here and don't forget to join us on Discord, follow us over on Twitch, and join us next week when we still don't know what the heck we're doing. Bye.